Hey everyone, this is Alfred from The Prompted, and let's upgrade your Shopify store. Today we're looking at another great customization to help increase your conversion rate. So imagine you have a scenario where you create a killer offer. Maybe it's a buy X get Y or free gift with purchase, but the customer has to add certain items to the cart in order to get it. And when they do, magically the items appear. So while it seems pretty intuitive, without this feature, it can confuse the customer and add friction to their buying journey. So if you have this type of offer, adding items automatically to cart can be really helpful. But this isn't a feature that's available in Shopify without some custom development. And we built this for a member in Stress-Free Scaling who are helping to add an extra 20 orders per day, and we're now sharing it with you. So in this video, we're going to show you this feature in action. We'll show you how to use it, and then we're going to show you the step-by-step instructions to add it to your theme so that you can use it too. And if you like these videos and customizations, then check out our free email newsletter. You get access to all of our free conversion boosting customizations and insights on how to scale your store and get more sales. Link is in the description. All right, let's take a look at automatically adding items to cart. So we're in our demo store now, and we're on this prompted original t-shirt. Let's add it to cart. And you can see here we've got a few items in the cart now. Now, what we've actually done in the background in our settings is that we've set it so that at $100, there's going to be a free gift added to cart. And so let's add one more $25 shirt to get to the 100. Actually, it's 99. And you can see now that we've gone over our threshold that our free gift is being added to the cart. And so that's how it functions. And we can see if we go below the threshold again, then it'll just automatically be removed because we're no longer meeting those conditions. And so what we have here is a way to automatically add these products into cart and remove them if those conditions are true or not true. So there's a few things that are going on behind the scenes in terms of how we set the conditions, what products that we add to the cart, and which products are valid for it. So we're going to get into all of that. But before we do, there's going to be on your page some messaging that's going to be required to let the customer know that this is even an option. So I haven't really done that here. But what you could do is you could say, put it into the banner at the top here. Maybe you've got a promotional banner that you want to put on your home page. Maybe it's on the product page where you can say, if you buy 3 of these, then you get one free. Many different ways, but the messaging part is really important. One other thing you could do is you could start to tie some of the customizations that we share on this channel together. So for example, the cart progress bar, that's one that you guys have liked a lot. You can say, okay, when you reach a certain value in the cart, that you get a free gift, and then you can pair it with this customization where that gift actually shows up. So lots of different options. If you want to learn more about how to pair these different customizations together, or ideas on how to conduct your messaging, then that's all stuff that we help members in Stress-Free Scaling with. So if you want to learn more about that, just sign up for our free newsletter and you'll get some emails about it. Okay, so let's talk a little bit more about how to set the conditions and add which product into the cart. So let's hop into our theme settings. And in the theme settings, there's going to be this drop-down menu here. We've added this in as part of this customization. It seems a little bit simple, and that's because a lot of the settings are actually in a Metaobject that we'll get into in a second. But first, let's go over what we have here. First, we have our master switch, right? So if you don't want to use this feature, you can just turn it off and it won't add any items to cart. It won't remove any items from cart. The next one is the condition type. And so we've got 3 options: the cart total, cart subtotal, and cart item count. So what's the difference between some of these? Let's turn that back on. So cart total and cart subtotal. This is easier to explain if there's a discount code. So let me just go to the checkout page and add the discount code in here. discount codes by default are only added on the checkout page. But we did do actually a customization where you can add into the cart. So check that out if you are interested. We'll also add a link in the description for that one. But let's go back to our cart now that we've added the discount code. We'll refresh. And there we go. Okay, so now we have some discounted pricing here. So the cart total is going to be this value here, 56.25. It's the after discounted values, right? The cart subtotal is the pre-discounted values. So it'll be the 25 plus 50. So subtotal 75, total 56.25. So that's the difference. Next, we have cart items, item count, and that's just counting how many, what's the quantity in the cart. So in this case, it's 1 plus 2, 3, right? So you can set your conditions based on any of those 3 values. You just have to say which one you want to use, and then it will look for those values. Now, let's head over to the Metaobject. In this case, we have the Metaobject entry cart gift item. So let's move over here. This is the Metaobject entry cart gift item. I'll show you how to create these Metaobjects in the installation portion, but for now, let's just look at the settings that we have available. So the first setting we have is the name. This is just to help identify which gift Metaobject that we're looking at. So maybe you have a New Year's promotion, or maybe you have a Christmas promotion, or a Valentine's promotion. So you can just name it whatever you want to help you know which one's which, because you can change all of these out depending on the promotion that you want to run. Next we have is the handle. The handle is actually the one that shows up right here. So you got to put your handle there so that it identifies the correct Metaobject entry that you want to use, which includes all of these settings. Next is the threshold value, right? So in this case, we're looking at the cart subtotal. So the threshold is $99 subtotal, right? So in this case, we are at 75. If I add one more, that's going to add it to cart because we're at $100 subtotal, even though in the cart, the total is less than that. 99, not 100. But yeah, 95 is still below 99. And then we have the product list. So this list is going to be the items that are going to be valid for this threshold. So for example, we have in the cart right now, all of these shirts, or 2 of the 3 shirts there. These are valid, so they will count towards the total to get the gift product. But let's say, for example, we add a different product. Let's open up the cart. Let's go below the threshold. And let's add a long sleeves, for example. If we add this to cart, it'll take us over the 100 subtotal again, right? But you can see here, it's not actually adding it in, even though I keep adding more of these shirts. And that's because it's not valid. It's not in the product list, right? So it doesn't count towards the conditions. So the products that you add to this list are going to be the ones that are going to be valid for counting towards getting the free gift, right? So if you want to make it very specific, it's like only these products here will count towards getting the gift, then you can do that. Conversely, if you want most of your products to be added, or even all of your products to be added, then all you need to do is you select use as exclusion to true, right? And then all of these products are now exclusions, which means all products count except for the ones in this list. So let's actually save this. And you're going to see that here in a second when we refresh, that it should probably add it to cart now because subtotal is over 100. So let's just add one more here. And so you can see, okay, let me refresh that again. Sorry, maybe just takes a moment to apply. Let's add one more. Okay, and there we go. So it's been added to cart. Sometimes it just takes a moment for the meta object to update on so that it can be used on the front end. But there we go. You can see here, if we, so we're at subtotal 99 is the threshold. Let's get to the point where we're under there. So one more. There we go. Gets removed. We add this back in. We get over to that 100. Then it adds the gift product back in. Okay, so next we have the variant to add. So in this case, we're adding this gift product here. Right, so we've selected this gift product, but you can choose any variant on your store, right? Because products may have variants, so you have to be very specific which variant you want to add. So you can change it to whichever one you want. If you want a new, if you're doing a different promotion, you can swap it out to something else. Entirely up to you. So let's change this back to inclusion instead of exclusion. And let's save. Okay, but those are our settings. And there's a lot of power here in just these few settings, right? So you can set the threshold type to total, subtotal, item count. You can set the threshold value to whichever value you want. You can make the product list to be inclusion or exclusion. And you can choose which variant to add. A couple of notes, right? So if you're going to use item count, keep in mind that this value is going to have to change drastically, right? So maybe it's 3 items. So then you're going to need to change that to 3. But if you're using total or subtotal, then you have to think of this in dollars. This becomes $99, right? So the value is either count or dollars or whichever currency that you use, depending on what you set right here. So they just have to match. The other thing you're going to notice, or you may have noticed, is that it's like, why isn't this gift product free, right? And that's because it really depends on how you set up your discount codes, which is also very important. So in this case, you need to have $99 of t-shirts in order to get the free gift product. So that's how we've set this up. Now, is that true right now? It's $18.75 plus $37.50. Not true, right? So if we say add 10 of these, then now we are over the $100 limit, and it should be free now. So, okay, let's just refresh. That's strange. Oh, right. It's because we have the New Year 25 discount code applied. So this is probably one of those discount codes that doesn't stack. In order to stack them, you have to specifically say they can be combined. So that's why once I remove it, you can see here the free gift now applies. But yeah, essentially the important thing here is that your threshold that you set for your discount, right? If you decide that you want to make it a free gift that gets discounted, then your discount codes are also going to need to match with the settings that you set with this in the meta object, right? The threshold value, they need to match. The product list needs to match. So, but once you've done that and you've added the messaging onto your store, right here. And you've added the messaging to your store, whether it's the cart progress bar or the announcement bar or however you want to do it, then it all comes together nicely to create a really nice buying journey for your customers to get an item added automatically to the cart. So if you like this and you want to add it to your store, then let's do that now. Okay, so we're in our Shopify admin in the themes area, and we've just added a fresh new version of Dawn at the time of recording. It's Dawn 15.2.0. And we're going to make some changes to this theme. Now, it's going to be code changes, but don't worry, I'll give you everything you need to make these changes yourself, even if you don't have any coding experience. all you need to do is just sign up for our free email newsletter. You'll get access to the code for this customization, this feature, and all the other customizations and features that we've shared on this YouTube channel. So if you want to get that, then that's all you need to do. So before we start though, you're going to want to duplicate your theme if you're working on an existing theme or you've made some changes to your theme, just so you can back it up in case anything goes wrong, then you can always revert back to your old version. Now, we've already essentially done that because we're just starting from a fresh version of your theme. So let's just go in and edit code. Now, the first thing we're going to do is we're going to be updating the settings underscore schema.json file. And this is where all of your theme settings live. So if we just kind of open up the theme and then go to the theme settings, all these settings here are what are defined in here. And so what we're going to do is we're going to scroll all the way to the bottom, and we're going to come right after the cart settings. So right here, cart, these settings end right near the bottom here. So you can actually scroll up here. You can see here, cart name, right? So cart type, for example, you open up this cart type, right? So those settings are actually shown right here. So we can actually find where those settings end by highlighting this curly bracket right above the name, and it shows it right there. So we can add a comma, and we'll add some spaces, and we're going to add the settings for our feature right into there. So we'll paste that in, and let's save. Next, we're going to update the cart page and the cart drawer files. So let's start off with the cart page. So main cart items.liquid. Okay, and so we're going to make the same changes here and the drawer. So the first thing is we're going to come right over after the quantity popover.js line right here, and let's paste our first code block right here. Okay, next we're going to find the cart items element. So in this case, that's right there. And then the closing of the tag happens right there. So we're just going to create a little bit of space because we want to add some data attributes inside of it. And let's paste those in there. Okay, so now that we've pasted that in, let's now look for the cart remove button tags. So I'm just going to Control F because this is a little further down in the file. Cart remove button, and we can find it right there. We'll add a little bit of space before the tag is closed, and we're going to paste in our new data attribute right there. Okay, and now we can save, and we're going to just repeat that with the cart drawer.liquid file. So here we're going to want the snippet version. There's actually a sections and a snippet. So we want the snippet one, and we are going to be doing essentially the same thing. So quantity popover.js will come below that, and let's paste our first code block. It's the same one that we had pasted in the main cart items file. We're going to look for the cart drawer items. Right, so there's a tag here, cart drawer items, and we're going to come right before the tag ends, just like before, and we're going to paste in our data attributes, and then we're going to look for cart remove button again. There it is, right? And right before it ends, we're going to add our attribute right there. Okay, so we can save. And so now we've made the changes on both the cart page and the cart drawer. And now we need to update the cart.js file. Okay, so let's open up the cart.js file right there. And the first thing we're going to do is we're going to add some space right up at the top, and we're going to paste in this function right here. Okay, next we're going to be updating the cart remove button classes, the constructor for the cart remove button class. And so we're going to go right under the prevent default and paste our code block in there. And then next we're going to we're going to add a new method into the cart remove button class. So you can see here the constructor ends right there. So let's add a couple spaces beneath it, and we'll paste our new method. Okay, so the next thing that we're going to do is we're going to start updating the cart items class. And so first we're going to add a new variable that's being defined, is force cart update. I'll explain that in a moment. Next, we're going to update the connected callback method here. So we're going to do this right before it ends, right there. And then we're going to move on to the update quantity method. So let's scroll down a little bit further, update quantity. So we're going to add right beneath the start of the method. And we're going to put this code block right there. And then we're going to scroll down a little bit further. And we're going to see this publish line right here. So let's just go beneath that and paste these lines of code. And now we just need to add a whole bunch of new methods. And so we're going to come until we see the custom elements. Right above that is the curly bracket that corresponds to where the class is being defined. So if we scroll all the way back up here, actually it doesn't highlight it, but this is the curly bracket that that closes the definition for the cart items. So I'm going to come right above that, right? So you can actually see that these curly brackets are for this method here. So we're going to add a whole bunch of methods right into the spot. And so we're just going to copy and paste all of our new methods in there. And now we can save. Okay, great. So now we can come back to our theme settings. We can refresh so that our new settings will show up. And if we scroll down a little bit further, let's close this. Let's change our currency format because I just prefer not to show the currency codes. Okay, so here are our new settings that we've just added in. Let's enable this. And we can just kind of keep this the same for now. Okay, so we can save. Now, I'll show you that it works, but before it works on your side, you're actually also going to need to create the Metaobject definitions. So we'll do that in a second, but let's just view our site. And we actually have a lot of items in cart right now. Okay, so let's just clear this out a little bit. Okay, so we have our conditions set to 99. Once we've added that in, it adds the product to cart. Perfect. So it's doing what it's supposed to do. Now, I did mention earlier about what that function at the top of cart.js was for. And that's actually because there may be a situation where the customer says, you know what, I don't want your gift. I don't want your free product, right? And if you delete it, without it, what it's going to do is it's going to see, oh, hey, you know what? The cart was updated. Let's check if the condition is true. Oh, it's true. And it adds it right back in, right? So you delete it, but it just gets added back in. So that's just to avoid that from happening. So now when we add more products to the cart, even though the conditions are met, it won't add it back in until you drop below the conditions, right? So the conditions no longer met. It resets that flag. And when we add back up to the 100 mark, it'll add back in. So that's what that's for. But yeah, so in order to get this all to work, right, we still need our meta object, right? So our meta object definition is a conditional add to cart item. And then you can create as many different entries as you like. So we only have one here, but you could create a new entry and set these values. So let's take a look at the definition so that you can create this too. So let's go to settings, custom data, and then meta object definitions. So let's open up conditional add to cart item. And we can look at these definitions. So actually, let's back up. You can add definition, right? In this case, you will have to add definition because this doesn't exist for you. And then when you do, you're going to get some blank fields, so you can add them all in. But since we've already added this here, let's just take a look at the actual definition. Okay, so first we call this conditional add to cart item. You don't have to call it this, but make sure that the type conditional underscore add to cart underscore item matches this exactly, because the code is going to be looking for this value. Next, you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 fields. The first one is the name. So the name, as we mentioned earlier, is just for your purposes, right? So that you can keep track of all of your different entries. So just give it a name, create this field so that you can have a place to name all of your different entries to differentiate them. And make sure it's called name, right? The key is name. Next, we have the threshold value. Again, this is important, right? The key here should be threshold underscore value. And this will be decimal 1 value. And we're going to make this required. And so, as we mentioned earlier, this can either be a value in currency, right? If you set it to total or subtotal, or it can be item count. Next is the product list. The key should be product underscore list. And you want to make this required. And this is going to be a list of products, right? And this is where you set all the products that you want to be considered in the code. And what it's going to do with it is going to be set in this one here, use as exclusion, right? So that's the key that you have to have. And we're going to make this true or false and required. So what happens here is if you set use as exclusion is true, then the list of products are excluded products. If it's false, then it's going to be inclusion products, right? So we explained that earlier. Don't have to go through it all over again. And then next, and lastly, actually, is the variant to add, right? So your key variant underscore to underscore add should be required, and it's going to be 1 product variant. That's what we're going to be adding to cart. So once you've created that meta field, the meta object definition, then it's going to allow you to create your meta field, your meta object entries, just like this, right? So that's a blank one, but this is the one that we created. And you can set the values as you like, and then you can use the handle directly in your theme editor. Okay, so that's how we can add products automatically to the cart. So you can use this customization to improve your store's conversion rate by pairing it with your offers. For more ways to increase your sales and improve your store's AOV and conversion rate, then check out our free email newsletter. We've got lots more insights to share with you. But that's it for today. Thanks, and I'll see you in the next one.